Paycheck Protection Program has been open for the second time for several weeks now, and I kind of feel the anxiety creeping here as thousands of businesses and individuals have applied and have either run into issues on their applications or they just simply haven't been funded yet, and you're left to be sitting there thinking, okay, am I not going to get funded? What's going on here? The more the days that pass, the more stressed people seem to be about this. I mean, the original timeline for this program was about 2 to 3 weeks after you apply. You can at least expect to hear something back or expect to receive some kind of funding, especially if you received a first round loan. The program should be fairly streamlined because you've been there before. If it was your first time, of course, they have to do some validation checks and things like that, but that's no problem either. The program was set to be easier than ever in order to get funding. But that hasn't exactly happened. Many people have run into tons of issues here. Now, this isn't to say no one has received their loan, because as of February 7th, the SBA has actually approved 1.3 million PPP loans already, totaling over $101 billion. But there's a long ways to go. So I'm going to talk about what's happening here and why these things are happening. And then I'm going to go into what actions you can take to ensure that you receive your PPP loan and to help quell the anxiety with this program just a little bit. Also, if you haven't applied for the Paycheck Protection Program yet, you should still apply. I'll have a link in the description for a lender that I've been working really closely with and offers amazing customer service. You can check that out if you're interested. So the reason for the delays for about 30% of the Paycheck Protection applications that have, for those who have applied after the beginning of the new year, is largely due to a disconnect from the SBA and their guidelines and their E-Tran system and lenders. Expectations are a little bit different. Communication just could be better between these two entities, or this one entity and the thousands of lenders that are trying to send applications to the SBA. So we're seeing issues with the SBA's system incorrectly flagging applications as either incorrect or wrong, or some other issue. So a letter was recently sent to the SBA about some of the top issues, asking the SBA to address these issues, and they have. But let's go over the issues first. So the first one was challenges with applications being denied. Now, this is a huge issue. A number of additional security checks were added to the Paycheck Protection system on the SBA's end later on, like after the program was launched. And this meant lenders weren't completely prepared. This is causing many legitimate applications to either be flagged or denied in the system without a whole lot of recourse as to what to do. One issue is some owners are being informed incorrectly that they have a criminal record. I've actually received emails from 2 people saying this has happened to them, and they don't have any criminal record. Another issue is people are being notified that their first draw loan number isn't accurate, and this actually happened to me. I submitted my loan completely, got my 10-digit first draw loan number off of my application, submitted that, no problem. But then they couldn't identify the first draw loan number. We went back and forth and yeah, this is the number. What I ended up having to do was scan my first draw loan documents, send them into my lender so they could see this is the number. And then it went through. So there's just little issues like that that are just coming up and causing issues for various applications. So 20 to 30 applications on top of this are being flagged for additional review and throwing some kind of error code to lenders, which that's not an issue in itself. You get an error code, you fix it, you move on. However, there's over 40 error codes that are similar to one another, and lenders are looking at this like, I don't know what the solution is here. And some not so great lenders might just cancel applications because of this. You would know if that happened to you, though. Another issue that was sent in this letter to the SBA to get a solution was we're seeing a situation where loan eligibility amounts are being capped at $35,000 per employee with no explanation as to why. And this is, of course, resulting in smaller than requested loans. Maybe even if you received a larger loan the first time and then the loan is just randomly becoming smaller. We haven't found a solution to this yet, but it's been addressed, and I don't see why that wouldn't be fixed in the short term. There's also concerns on this letter from the general public that funding is going to run out and they're going to miss out on the loan. And I'm here to say that this isn't going to happen. There's plenty of funding there, and the SBA has assured us, and if you watch my live stream with one of the heads of the SBA about a month ago, he said, don't worry, The funding's there. If it runs out, odds are there's going to be more funding approved, and you will be totally fine. So if you are running into complications, don't stress, because you will get the funding. As long as it's a legitimate application, you have a legitimate business, you will get funding. So don't worry if you're not the very first in line. So in response to these issues, the SBA has done a number of things. They've increased transparency for the lenders to see what exactly is going on. They've provided more information to lenders with certain seminars and direct contact lines to people at the SBAs with lenders so they can discuss back and forth what's going on. And most importantly, they're now going to allow lenders to directly certify eligibility of borrowers without submitting documentation to the SBA. So a lender will now be able to receive your information, your documentation, verify it's all accurate, send the rest of the application off to the SBA, get it approved, you're good to go. Where in the past, it seemed they would receive that documentation, approve it in-house, then send the documentation to the SBA where they would need to approve it, adding this second layer of complications that didn't necessarily need to be there. So they're going to streamline that a little bit, and of course, that's going to drop the processing time down dramatically. And this is all just happening recently. So we're going to see a lot of progress in the next couple of weeks here as far as applying these loans. And of course, the backlog is getting whittled down as well. Now let's talk about what you can do with your personal PPP loan. I have a few recommendations here. First, and this is the biggest recommendation, I highly recommend logging into your loan portal and seeing if anything additional is requested. This happened with my loan. I needed to log in, check around, make sure that everything is signed, make sure that there aren't certain documents that they're requesting, whether that be some payroll document, some bank statement, proof that you're in business. It could be a variety of different things. The back of your driver's license might be something. Some lenders require that, some lenders don't. It really varies. So log into your portal and see if anything is requested and make sure everything is signed. If you applied through Womply, this is very simple. You can just go to the website of the lender that they directed you to, log in, and you'll be able to see all your information there. If you aren't sure where to go, you can send them an email to support@womply.com. And once you're in your portal, again, just click around, make sure everything's signed, make sure there's no pending status, and there's no additional information needed. If everything is looking like it's completed there and you're still not receiving any notice, or there's some error, or you don't know exactly what's going on, my recommendation would be to reach out to your lender, probably by email, and ask if there's any additional documents that you can provide to help verify or speed up the process. And then also, this is kind of a last-ditch effort. I don't think most people have to do this, but some lenders are doing better jobs than others. You might want to consider switching. I've especially heard some issues with the big banks this time around. I'm not going to name any names, but I've received emails like, hey, I'm having complications with this loan portal isn't user-friendly, whatever the reason might be, or maybe they're just not giving you information, or they're saying your application was denied or something. Another advantage, if you use Womply, that paycheck protection application processor that I've linked in the description, if you use them and the lender they connected you with has stalled, you can email Womply at support@womply.com and request that they switch you to another lender, and they will. Like I said, some lenders are just simply processing a little quicker than others, and you can switch, but you will have to go through the application process again, which you should know how to do if you've done it before. It should take about 10 minutes. But I would say that is a last-ditch effort if nothing else is working. And finally, and probably the least satisfying option, is to simply be patient. Wait for the kinks of the system to work out, and you will eventually get funding as long as you're eligible. So overall, if you're feeling anxious about this program, I just want to say, yes, there seems to be some issues here, but improvements are being administered right now, and you will eventually get funded. And also, I'll let you know as soon as I'm personally funded. I mean, I've talked about these programs in depth. I've talked to lenders. I've talked to the SBA. I'm very knowledgeable on this subject, and my loans haven't yet been approved. So if that makes you feel at all a little bit better, there you go. I'll let you know as soon as mine are approved as well. So I'd like to thank you for watching, and I hope you have a profitable day.